but there's no model for moving the virtual head of the user independently of the vehicle. Looking This video demonstrates Toolspaces and Glances, a mechanism for extending first-person 3D with new, lightweight viewpoint controls that support object storage and retrieval. Our implementation of glancing uses two pointing devices, a mouse in the right hand for picking and vehicle control, and a touchpad in the left hand for performing glancing gestures. Here is a simple 3D world with a standard vehicle user interface. With normal vehicle driving, the user's eye point is allowed to translate and rotate, but there's no model for moving the virtual head of the user independently of the vehicle. Looking around requires heavyweight steering of the vehicle, and looking back requires additional steering. Glancing extends the traditional 3D vehicle navigation metaphor to include a gesture that simulates a head turn to one side by a fixed amount. This gesture manages both the deflection of the gaze and its return, so the user isn't burdened with the low-level steering of the camera. For example, to glance left, the user simply swipes left on the touchpad. To face forward again, the user releases the touchpad. With this extra viewpoint control, we can give the user a mechanism for getting a quick view to one side without destroying the current orientation of the vehicle. Glancing opens up a new capability for 3D worlds on the desktop: Toolspaces. A tool space is a container that can hold collections of 3D widgets, tools, and control panels. Tool spaces are attached to the virtual vehicle, which means the user is always carrying the tool spaces with them wherever they go. For example, let's look at a user in a virtual world from the outside. This camera represents the user. As we back up, we can see the tool spaces to either side of the camera. When the user turns the camera, the tool spaces turn as well. But when the user glances to one side, the camera turns but the tool spaces remain still. This example shows tool spaces to the left and right of the user, but we could easily put tool spaces above, below, and behind the user as well, each space dedicated to a different function. Our system actually implements such a 5 tool space arrangement, but we're only showing 2 here for the sake of clarity. Next, we'll show 2 examples of tool spaces in use. In this demonstration, the tool space to the left contains a gallery of objects which we get to by glancing to the left. Mousing down on an object creates a copy that can be dragged into the scene by releasing the glancing gesture, then releasing the mouse to let go of the object. Tool spaces can also be used to implement cut and paste in a 3D world. This time the tool space is a clipboard and not a gallery. To cut an object, the user grabs it with the mouse and lets it go while glancing into the clipboard tool space. The paste operation is the reverse of cut. The user glances into the clipboard space, retrieves the desired item, and lets go of it while looking forward. You've just seen a demonstration of tool spaces and glances, a technique for 3D navigation, object storage, and access.